COVID-19 has changed life as we know it. Remembering what my life was even like before COVID is almost a blur. It all feels like it was so long ago, but I can say a lot has changed. There's no more going out to bars, no more dining out, and I can't even leave the house without a mask on. Um as of recently, I've been doing everything from my dorm pretty much, eating, studying, entertainment, meetings, pretty much everything. And I rarely go out, and when I do, it's when I absolutely have to or to get food. As you can see, this is the space I've been working from in the past few months. So that's my desk, fridge, and my my living space that I do everything from. Um, I know when it first hit around March or April, all the stories on the news and social media were all about death, and then all these businesses started closing down and masks were being mandated. I was constantly worried about my family, hoping they wouldn't be the next life claimed by COVID, and also worrying I might be an asymptomatic carrier. And of course, I was hurting for all the other families who'd lost loved ones or couldn't see anyone because they were in the hospital from COVID and they weren't able to visit with anyone. And so that was just a constant fear. For me personally, it wasn't death or illness that had changed my life. In my case, I felt the effects in March during spring break. It took more of a toll on my mental health, social life, and how much effort I was putting forth in just classes and everything. All my classes were in limbo over whether they'd resume as regular, like in person, or just go online completely. And they also ultimately all moved online. Spring break lasted 2 weeks, and I expected to go back to work after classes resumed. Then that didn't happen, and I decided to go home to continue my classes and resume work in the fall semester. All of that really took a toll on my mental health. My days were consumed with extra assignments that weren't in the syllabus and adjustments to my full schedule being online. It was hard to focus for so many hours. The couch in the den at my house back in Dallas became my main study area. I was getting more and more depressed and anxious about the end of the semester and felt it couldn't come soon enough because I had practically no time for self-care or free time. As for my family, they were also taking it hard. They had reduced work hours, no more family outings. My mom still continued doing home health care for our next door neighbors, which were two elderly ladies, but one unfortunately passed away, though it wasn't from COVID, it was from bone cancer. And she still has patients in Oak Cliff that she goes to see and help out. And both of my parents, they've offered support for me in my struggles whenever possible. And my dad, he's also still doing construction management, but with different hours. So his hours aren't what they were pre-COVID. In the summer, things finally slowed down for me, but my COVID anxiety was now paired with racial anxiety with the height of, all unarmed black people being murdered by police, and then the protests against police brutality. So I was really worried about that and everything, and I felt helpless because I felt there was more I could have been doing, but wasn't, and just the whole situation was just really bleak, and it still is now because, not much has changed since then. And just thinking that any of those people could have been someone, either me, my brother, or anyone else in my family could have been in the shoes of those murdered black people. I did get my job back in the fall, though, but everything changed there. It was no longer knowing what to expect from day to day and shift to shift, and me and my former coworkers at the catering place, we were all being assigned to work different places every day, and there's no consistency to who I was working with, and just being thrust back into that social environment after not socializing with anyone outside my parents or brother for like 4 or 5 months. I wasn't prepared for the shock of being thrust into a hyper social environment all of a sudden, so that was hard to adjust to. I didn't realize how much my social skills had been affected in that time. But now I'm dealing with all my classes being online once again, and just, conducting. It's also affected how I conduct my journalism interviews because I can't be in person and actually observe people in their natural environment. I have to do it over Zoom, so it's harder to get as descriptive as I would otherwise. And social distancing, you aren't able to get in people's spaces anymore, so it's changed a lot for me, this whole COVID. So nothing's the same as it was pre-COVID.